So recently, I had a conversation with a friend, and our conversation was centered around dealing with hurt, offenses, as well as forgiving. And while we had this conversation, the question of how she dealt with hers came about, and then she told me for her, all she did was forget about the hurt, forget about the issue, and probably most of the time also forget about the person. Now, I had to ask her this question, and I'm like, are you sure when you do all of this, you have actually forgiven? And then she said to me, well, for her, as long as she's not able to remember, as long as she's able to suppress it and put it aside, she feels like she's actually forgiven. Now, the reason I had to ask this question was because at some point in my life, I used to be like that. I had the ability and the capacity to forget issues, forget about people, suppress it, and then move on. And in my mind, I would actually think that I had forgiven, because in my mind, I'm not angry with this person, and if I'm not angry, I hold nothing against this person. Now, not until a time came in my life, and one of the people that had hurt me the most, and one of the most important people in my life as well. Now, this relationship needed to be rebuilt, and we had to deal with it. Now, for the moment, we were not actually in contact, so I felt like we were good and I wasn't offended. But when the contact had to come back, then I realized I was actually offended and I had not forgiven this person. And that led me to my conscious and deliberate process to forgiveness. Welcome to my channel. My name is Miriam. It's good to have you join me here today. If you're new here, please click the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. All I do on this channel is share my thoughts on various issues: nation building, faith, and real life issues. So today our conversation is centered around forgiveness, and I tagged this one the myths about forgiveness. Now, there's so many things that I found that we have actually patterns that we have created for ourselves and have somehow equated it to dealing with unforgiveness, or even dealing with having to forgive our offenders. And too many times you find out that a lot of people are bitter, angry, because they have not actually consciously dealt with the issue of forgiveness in their lives. And some of them I want to look at today. The number one thing, like I did say, is the forgetting syndrome. Some people feel like because you're able to forget the issue, forget the person, cut ties with that person, and do all sort of things, they just tell themselves they have forgiven the person, because they can no longer feel that thing, or they don't remember it, they don't remember the issue, and they are forgiven. Now, here's the thing. The reason why that does not work is because forgiveness is a conscious and deliberate effort, a conscious and deliberate act. It means that you do it deliberately. You deliberately tell yourself, this person has offended me and I am going to forgive. So it is conscious, it is deliberate, okay? And that's why forgetting does not equate to forgiving. Instead, what that means is that you're actually running away from confronting the issue. So we tend to suppress it. And the dangers are, when we suppress those feelings and think that we have forgotten about them, they store somewhere in our hearts, in our systems, and begin to grow as seeds that we don't even know where they're coming from. Okay? The number two thing is what I call the denial syndrome. A lot of people tend to deny hurt. A lot of people tend to deny offenses. Even when they are clearly offended, they sound offended, they know that they have been offended, they still tell themselves, I'm not angry. Oh, don't worry about it. Somebody offends you, you know that everybody sees that, this thing that this person did to you is the problem, and you're like, don't worry about it, I'm fine, I'm good. Is all that really? Now, that is one. There's a set of people that in their own instance, they don't actually get angry on the spot. Well, that is well understood. But when they get to their private spaces, all of a sudden the thought comes back, the events come back, and then you begin to imagine, why did this person do this? Why did this person have to act in this manner? And gradually they are being hurt, but they tell themselves it doesn't matter anymore, it's gone now. And then you tell like yourself that, oh, I'm not angry, I choose to forget about it. It makes a lot of sense. It works for some people, it does, but a lot of times I actually discover that because it is a hurt, if it hurts you, this is what I'm going to say: if it hurts, don't deny it. If it hurts, don't deny it. There's nowhere where we have been told that when things hurt us, we should not actually accept them. No, if it hurts you, accept it. It's the same as when sometimes we bruise ourselves and probably have a scratch on the skin, and a lot of times you don't feel the pain immediately, or you feel it but it's really just little and then it goes by. But the next day when you put water on it, it becomes something else, and you're like, what the hell, what kind of thing is this? You're even looking for it. The truth is, if it hurts, accept it. especially if that hurt is attached to how you feel to the person that caused it. In other words, you feel the hurt and it has made you grown something not good, which is a bit of anger towards the person who caused it. Please accept that hurt and deliberately forgive the person. All these things, when we deny, when we forget, they settle somewhere, they don't disappear. Our brains don't forget things as we imagine. They just get stored somewhere in our system. Now, the number 3 thing is what some people tend to be like, I want to heal from the hurt first before I forgive my offender. It makes a lot of sense, really, because sometimes we are badly hurt and then all we just want to do is forget about the issue, move on from it, and not even remember. So it makes sense to say I will heal first before I forgive. But this is it. In my journey and in my process, I have found that it is easier to actually deal with healing from a hurt and forgiving the person that hurt you. It's easier. Now, how do I know this? For me as a person, I learned to deal with forgiveness in the place of prayer. In other words, I go to my nails and I tell God, this is how I feel. I am hurting, I'm angry, and I'm angry with this person. And then I tell the Lord, please give me grace to also forgive. Now, when I ask for that grace, I'm also asking for the grace to heal. So together, I'm doing 2 things together, because I found something. The energy we use to heal from a pain sometimes is the same energy we need to forgive our offender. And that's the reason why when people separate from their offenders from a very long time, when they come in contact again and they are at the point where they need to deliberately forgive this person, it feels like it is still as hurtful as it was so many years ago when they were hurt, right? Or the moment, it might not be too long or whatever it is, but the same energy. So for me, doing it in the place of prayer and doing it together makes healing from a hurt actually easier. And so it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, one of the things I found that actually helped me in this journey was the fact that I found a scripture in Matthew 11:28-30, where Jesus said unto us, it says, come unto me, all ye that are weary and are burdened, and I will give you rest. So what happens in the place of prayer? For me, when I go to the place of prayer, it means that I'm doing an exchange. I give Jesus the burden of unforgiveness and pain and hurt, and he gives me rest and peace. What a nice exchange, right? And then you move on from it and you are healed totally. It's a complete healing. There's nothing like I heal now and then much later I now have to gather another energy to forgive the person who hurts me. No. If you must heal from a hurt, if you must move on from a hurt, and sometimes when we do those things, we put ourselves in spots that we don't want. We begin to allow ourselves fall into activities or even scenarios that we never even planned for. So there is no need. But the truth is, we have grace in Jesus. And that's why, like I did say, I recommend again, if you need to deal with hurt, if you need to deal with unforgiveness, please do it in the place of prayer and let Jesus do the work for us. Thank you guys. If this has helped you in any way at all, please leave me a comment, subscribe, like, and thank you so much.